What's the crack? Blu Hydrangea here, queen of the mother-tucking world. And this is the series where we see who the next queen of the mother-tucking world is as we review UK vs. the World Season 3. I wanna break up, bye-bye.
BLU, baby join the queue, we got room for you.
Hydrangea truly is in the game now. So last week we saw Godland win her second badge. Godland ate the snatch game up. We saw Fontana and Minty Fresh in the bottom, and Fontana was saved. Drama ensues. At the end of the last runway, we saw a little moment between Fontana and Godland where Fontana was like, When Fontana gets back into the workroom, she is super chirpy. It is as if Minty has not left at all. She was just in the bottom, just sent someone home, and yet she is skipping and dancing into the workroom. I know that when I was sent home by Cheryl, I was upset. If Cheryl had got skipping and dancing, I would have run over and throat punched that bitch. I can only imagine what Minty was going through while Fontana was getting on like that. Minty's mirror message was just a lot of scribbles all over the mirror. What I want to know is, do the queens really think that the queen is actually cleaning this up after them? No, it's some twink from production that is being brought in with a cloth and a spray, and he is having to clean the mirror after you make a mess, Minty, alright? I'm so glad to see that Godland is still happy about winning. She is not letting Fontana's reign of terror impede on her joy that she has from her second repeater badge. And Naomi gagged me because she was like, Serena, I'm so happy that you got the chippy tea. And Serena was like, and then Naomi went, but I think Fontana was better. And Serena literally went, I was like, this poor girl. She can't get a win. She can't even get the support of her queens. Godland was definitely trying to piss Fontana off. I think Godland is playing some mind games here because she was like, I just picked the girl that I thought was funniest. And Fontana did say, well, what about all the other challenges? And I was like, you were being judged that day for that challenge, and that's why you were in the bottom. So I agree with Godland's methodology, although I do think her picking Serena was still a bit shady. I actually really appreciated Mariah calling Fontana out because I do think in that moment, you don't have to ham it up that much, girl. Like, show some respect for the queen who's just had her heart broke. Zahira is listing off her alliances, and it's pretty much everyone in the room, which is super clever. I mean, she's clearly not a threat to any of these queens just yet, but this could come in handy later, and as we see later in the episode, having friends in the workroom does work to your benefit. It's a new day in the workroom. Fontana has just entered looking like Violet Beauregard.
I'm the bubblegum princess, Violet Beauregard.
Every time RuPaul says space ghettos, she says it wrong. It's supposed to be like space ghettos. And RuPaul sounds sick, doesn't she? When she walked into the workroom, I was like, oh, she needs a wee lem sip. Anyway, the challenge is girl groups. And the song is I'm in Love with an Alien, which I love. This sounds camp already. And it's funny because Mariah already did a challenge like this. She did I'm in love with Jason Momoa. Yes, I'm that bitch. Yes, I'm that bitch.
He'll fillet me, he will slay me.
I think Fontana is picking the people in the room that I wouldn't initially run to, like Kate and Serena, and then she ends up with Naomi as well. I was like, oh, that's a dodgy team. There's one thing that I know from a girl group challenge is being on the team that's like the underdogs and the ones that aren't picked for the challenge. It can work out. Sminty walked over to Zahira and Godland and went, Team Asia, which made me laugh. Sminty is just naturally funny. Who would have thought? When Naomi wasn't picked, Sminty went womp womp, and I'm like, is this like a rivalry of the two lanky, pretty model-esque queens? I feel like there's definitely been some like tension there throughout this whole season. Okay, so they're in their teams. Kate is naming off her Rolodex of her sci-fi references. I only got a few of them. I did like C3P hoes. I thought that was very fun. Kate is just always thinking of the next joke, but I have no idea how they ended up on the wormholes. The wormholes doesn't immediately make me think of wormholes. I don't know. I thought C3P hose was better. Maybe production couldn't get the rights. I'm getting intel that it might have been a reference to not the boar worms. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I thought it was just to do with wormholes, but boar worms. Boar wormholes. Would that have been better? Anyway, over to the other group. Sminty has already thought of the name and she already knows it eats. It's the Dolograms, which is so fierce. It works for everyone in the group. I love how every single person in this group realizes that they have flopped a performance challenge in the past. Zahira, again, being the encyclopedia, she's like, Mariah, on the 27th of December 2025, at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, you actually flopped at this challenge. Okay, so it's time to record with Rag and Bone Man, or you can call me Rory.
You can call me Rory.
What a gem of a human being. Is he gay?
She's an ally. Talk, Valentina. Ally.
I don't know, but he seemed like a really lovely man who was happy to be there. And unlike the Pussycat Dolls last week, he knows what he's talking about. There's not much to say about all this. One thing I did notice is that Serena looked like she had a boner the whole time when she was sitting on the thing. She was pitching a tent. Serena while she was sitting down there. Mariah's singing is truly bad, to be honest. She sounds the exact same as she did when she sang I'm in Love back on her All-Star season. Yes, I'm that bitch. Yes, I'm that bitch. I can already tell that the Dolograms are going to have the better song because I just think that all of their verses sounded better. Okay, it's time for the rehearsals on the main stage. And this is a little bit of point of tension, which I love. Sminty looked so long on the stage. Her legs just kept on going. I literally can't imagine what it would be like to have limbs like that. As a short king myself. Short queen, sorry. Oh, queen. And Zahira is wearing the shortest shorts. I'm like, if I was wearing those, my testicles would be popping out one side and my willy would be popping out the other. I kind of low-key live for the other queens messing with Sminty's head. I mean, I love Sminty. I'm a Sminty apologist. Not that I've needed to be because she's been eating. I do kind of love the little back and forth getting in people's heads. Mariah is equally as bad as Sminty and not picking things up, but she just doesn't care. Mariah is unbothered and I kind of live for it. Sminty's not about to let these hoes get away with it though. She's calling people out. She's saying, Naomi, you look like a cotton swab. I don't even know how a read like that comes to someone. Also, what I noticed is Naomi's hair kept going from pink to blonde, pink to blonde. I'm like, how did that happen and it's not? And why is her hair not pink in the confessionals? I'm so confused. Anyway, on to the other group. Fontana immediately gets the girls together. The choreography is going well. What sent me most this whole episode, I think, they did the Camp Rock dance. Camp Rock! Camp Rock! Anyway, on to the runway. Rue looks like Ziggy Stardust. It's given very Your Woman from American Horror Story. Jessica Lange, yep. And Bananarama, they are gonna be camp. You can just tell. They're almost giving me like Ab Fab vibes, but like if they were real people. Okay, it's time for the girl group. I love the little stage setup with all the big aliens. It's very cute. And the bass song that they have to work with was very catchy. I do think it went on a bit long. Like by the end of the performances, I was like, why are they still going? But the song is very cute and I will probably have it on repeat. Okay, we're gonna go queen by queen. Mariah just sounded exactly like she did in I'm in Love, which made me laugh. She didn't do anything really crazy to stand out or anything, but maybe she felt because she was like the first one out of the gate that she didn't want to start with too much of a bang. But I really do think she should have maybe picked up the pace a little bit. I did notice that she was missing some words and some choreography, getting out of those splits. She had that one hand on that knee to help her get up. Although I never would have guessed that Mariah could do a split. In all 3 seasons, have we ever seen her do a split? Also, is this the furthest that Mariah's ever made it in a season? Is it? On to Sminty. I think Sminty's was potentially the best verse. It gave me very Charlie XCX. I do think she had a lot of fun in the recording, and that's why the song sounded so good. Plus, there was a lot of personality in it, and she looked really cool. I was like proper rooting for Sminty, but then whenever the judges cut to her dancing alongside the other girls, you could tell that she was just a bit... Although, not enough to be in the frickin' bottom, but we'll get to that. Zaire! I wasn't fussed on her choice to add red. She was the only queen in the group that added like a colour. I wouldn't have minded just red hair, but the red bodysuit underneath, I was like, that was an easy thing to get rid of. I like the words, I like the performance. There's just something that isn't hitting with Zahira. What she did was attack every part of the performance. There was no peaks and valleys, there was no chill bits, there was no humour. It was all just like, I'm so fierce, I'm so fierce. Scotland! Godland is eating, of course. She looks gorgeous. I did think her padding looked a bit dodgy. It looked a bit like squashed or something in her tights. And I don't even think she knew all the words, but she knew how to sell it. Fontana. I actually think Fontana was one of the weaker ones in this challenge. When she started her verse, she turned her back to the judges, and I thought that was such a weird choice. Like, we want to see your face and we want to see you deliver this. And then she went into the cartwheel. It was like just her like trying too hard or something. And it just looked a bit chaotic. Okay, Naomi. I really liked her German, like, little fast rap that Rag and Bowman liked as well. I just didn't really care much for her performance. When she wasn't being dragged across the floor, she looked really chaotic, especially in the group parts. There was parts where she was like too frantic, and it made her like look out of sync from the other girls. Because Kate was behind her playing it cool, calm, collected, and then she was right in front of Kate, looking like chaotic, and every time she was doing something she was like, ah! Serena! Best part of this performance was her cartwheels. Easily. I loved how crunchy they were. But surely you can feel when a cartwheel is not right, like that you're just hopping from one space to another. Oh my gosh. And the fact that those other girls were like, yeah, they're so cute, keep them in. That's shady. Again, Serena was just like really eager to please, to the point where she wasn't even really performing. She was just like, look at me, pick me, Rue, pick me.
Rue, me, pick me.
Kate was giving me very confident. She burst out. It's so funny because when you do see a queen that is known to be a bit geeky and dorky, and they come out with like this ferocity, there is like some part of you that's like, oh, cringe. But she pulled it off. The only thing I wish she didn't do was raise her leg. It didn't extend fully up, so it just looked like she was gonna like a dog taking a piss. But she definitely did the best job. I thought she played it cool. She had the best lyrics by far, chock full of funny references. Kate ate up this challenge. And then they did this like weird light thing, which definitely they had to cut the cameras for, because they did like this weird transition. Why are they cutting the cameras for some weird gimmick that they used for like 3 seconds in their performance? Serena wasn't using her light on her face like everyone else, so she was just holding the light away from herself. That is funny, I didn't notice that, but I'll put it in a clip here. And then she did a second cartwheel just after that, which was even worse than the first one. It literally looked like my granny after she's had a fall. Bananarama pointed and laughed at her while that happened. That is diabolical. She was just, I couldn't keep my eyes off her. At one point she was like on the floor, and it looked like she stumbled right before it. Like, did she fall over? I'm so confused. They go back to the girls in the workroom, and Sahara goes, that was amazing. Kate did great.
That was amazing. Kate ate.
Was she fed that line so that Kate can win this challenge? Or she went, Kate ate. I do think the first group was better. Sminty, Zahira, Godlin, and Mariah. They had a few slip-ups, but for some reason it was just cooler. The song gelled better with their lyrics, and I didn't think their dance was over-choreographed. But I think the overall, for me, was between Godland, Sminty, and Kate. Those are my top 3 for this challenge. Okay, it's on to the runways. Zahira is first. I really like her koi fish on her shoulder. I like her wig. I like her makeup. She said, I designed this runway. What I was wondering was like, did she design it or did she construct it? And it did look good. It just wasn't like spectacular, but I did really enjoy it. Godland and her team, they worked this so well to give her such a versatile package. Maybe Godland had a few ideas of things that she wanted to do and try, and things that she liked and references she has, and then a team of people maybe helped her out. Or maybe I'm just talking shit and she's just a really good drag queen. Her energy brings every single look to life as well. The fabric of the costume was a bit dodgy. It was like that satin that they did like a runway for in season 18 that kind of puckers and is hard to work with. And you could tell that maybe it didn't fit perfectly, but it just looked good. I really liked the big back piece. Her energy just sold it. She looked like a rock star. I remember seeing in an interview before the season started that Sminty was going to be the fashion girl. I truly think Godland is giving her a run for her money. Okay, Mariah. Mariah was like, I'm not spending money on shit. Here's an upcycled gown with a corset that my mate had. I love it. You know, if Godland came out next week in something like this, we'd be like, what the hell? But because it's Mariah, you're like, it works. Not my favorite, obviously, but I mean, she's a smart queen, not going bankrupt for a show that might not make her any money. Sminty. I can't remember her look. Oh yeah, the gangster. I love this idea to take the word gangster and make it into gangstar. That's very fun. She looks like a sketch, like an illustration or something, especially with her like crazy proportions. I always love like a queen in like a pinstripe suit and stuff. That's so sexy to me, and she really made it work. I love that when she was walking down the runway, she called Bananarama bananas in pajamas. Okay, next up is Fontana. I love it. It's my favorite color. There's iridescence in there. I really like the headpiece of like the galaxy. It was so fun. The only thing that I thought that I wasn't a fan of was the big puffy blonde wig, which is like not really trendy anymore. Imagine this exact same look, but with like a grey slick back bob. Okay, Kate. You know, this had the potential to be beautiful. Imagine if on each of these big boning pieces, there's a giant star, right? And then imagine her in a massive updo with a little triangle bang and some stars in it. How beautiful would that have been, rather than a nude catsuit with a weird like a headpiece and all these big boning pieces that didn't have anything on them. I really like the actual dress though, it was gorgeous. I think if Kate didn't do so well this week and they didn't want her to win the challenge, she could have been red for this look, because although it had potential, it also didn't work at the same time. Naomi is up next in her spunky metal costume. I didn't really like the eyepiece. I thought it took over her face and looked really cumbersome. She took it off in the workroom and I was like, wow, she should have just walked that runway with like the nude mesh and the like metallic spunk all over her. It looked gorgeous. Again, she looked like a supermodel. Even Rue said about her waist. I just would have got rid of the face piece. Serena is up next. Finally, we get to see Serena in her full ultimate final form. She looks gorgeous. The hair is beautiful. I loved the blue, of course. The big back piece was stunning. Was it to the level of like a Fontana or a Godland or Sminty? Maybe not. But this is super elevated for Serena and what we've been waiting for all season.
Meow.
Okay, it's time for the judging. And I feel like production are really trying to break Zahira. They're like, yeah, we're going to put Naomi in the top over you. Shady. I didn't really talk very much about the critiques. One thing I have to say is I cannot see a world where Sminty was in the bottom for this challenge, honestly. I think I would have put Fontana in the bottom over her. I would have put Naomi in the bottom over her. I don't know. Do you agree with me? Maybe I just thought the judges were weird. And I think I've cracked the code. I think it's because the production knew that Kate was going to be in the top and she has two alliances. She has an alliance with Mariah and she has an alliance with Sminty and Zahira. And this is the moment where production are gonna go, we can get good TV out of this if we just make Kate make a big decision. Dun dun dun! They're back in the workroom, everyone is pleading their case. I think Mariah kind of hints at her alliance, and Sminty is like upset, but she's like playing it off in a way that I would, where she's just trying to be funny about it. At the end of it, I feel like Sminty did still show her vulnerability and that she was upset. Maybe I am a Sminty apologist. But it's also just how I deal with kind of like pressure and being upset too, is by making jokes and trying not to make a fuss about myself at that moment. Kate, I can tell, is really thinking about what people's opinions are going to be of her. I feel like she's always like trying to say the right thing and be nice to everyone. And in this moment, she's like, it's a really, really hard decision. Even though as soon as you win the challenge and know that you have to make the decision, you pretty much make it immediately, let's be honest. I knew I was going to send Pangina home as soon as Rue said that I won the challenge. They're back on the runway. When Kate was delivering her little speech about who she was going to give the chippy tea to, she said, your British alliance. I'm going with Mariah. Yes, I'm that bitch. Yes, I'm that bitch. Sminty, her face was rotted. And I feel like Kate maybe went, oh no, I've made the wrong decision. Do I agree with Kate's decision? I think Kate was making it look like she was sticking to an alliance, but really what she was doing was getting rid of someone who's potentially a threat. And I think Sminty has been doing really well in all the challenges, even in this one, and Kate wanted to get rid of her. Mariah has been doing so-so, but it also makes Kate look good to Mariah and trustworthy. So if Mariah does well in the future, she could save Kate. So Kate has maybe made the best decision for her, but not for me because I love Sminty. It's lip sync time. I personally don't know this song, but Bananarama were whipping out their choreography. RuPaul was bopping and dipping. She loved this. Honestly, the lip sync was such a flop, but Ru was giving it stacks. And here's some insider tea. On Drag Race UK, they send out 2 people from the crew to dance to the lip sync before the queens do. They do it so the cameras are ready. They do it so they know the song's ready. It gives us a second to kind of have a little listen to the song and prepare for the lip sync we're about to do. And these members of the crew give it stacks and have RuPaul howling and laughing the whole time. And they record this. The production record this, so they have extra shots of Ru reacting. And I think the only way that Ru could be reacting like that to this lip sync is if they use those ones from the crew. Maybe Ru just really loves the song. Sminty started strong, I thought. She walked to the back, she was doing a little slut drop, she looked very sexy. Serena was dancing like an auntie at a wedding at this point in character shoes that she had duct taped to her foot. But Sminty immediately started dropping words, and not just dropping words, she was not even looking present in those moments, which makes me think maybe it was like anxiety or something, or maybe again, I'm just like, Sminty can do no wrong. I'm wondering when Serena made this little flag that says the words to the song on the back of it. Did she make it last night? Did she know she was going to be in the bottom? Or did she make it in the workroom? Because you don't have that much time to get ready for your lip sync. I think you all know my favourite of the season is now gone. Sminty was asked to sashay away, and immediately Kate goes, oh fuck, under her breath. Kate knew she was making a bold decision, but I don't know if she thought that Sminty was actually going to go home because of it. Oh yes, and Sminty gives the finger to Kate, which is what I felt like doing when I saw Sminty get eliminated too. I can't lie, I'm devastated. Sminty brought a lot of humour, a lot of looks. She was a big energy in the workroom, and now she's not going to be there. I actually overlooked Sminty prior to the competition, but she really was showing up every single week and doing a great job. Sminty is just fantastic at drag. Okay, so that is the end of this week. We have Kate Butch with her first win, Fontana with a win, Godland with 2, Mariah got the chippy tea this week. That's Serena's second time lip syncing as well. And sadly, Sminty was sent home. Ooh. So next week is silent movies, which is actually a really fun episode idea. Like, why have they not done this before? Drag is all about expression and expressing yourself through your face and your body and your movements. And I feel like this is the perfect challenge for that. This could be another Kate win. It seems like this is a very Kate-centric challenge, no? And another tense workroom moment. Zahira, it seems like she is truly upset over Kate for making this decision. And as Kate rightfully says, I'm not the one that sent her home. Well, Kate, if it was lipsticks, would you have sent Sminty home? That's what I want to know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this week. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Can I just say, I'm enjoying this season so much. Is it not the best season that we've had of Drag Race in a long time? The people who aren't watching it are missing out. Thank you for your comments, your love. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. I'm gonna break up. Boom, boom, bye-bye. Mwah.
BLU.